Hello everyone, this is my 2023 movie ranking video. I'm just saying I've been wanting to do this since 2021 and I really want to keep this video simple. So don't expect very hard editing from this, just a simple, well-made video about ranking all the films I watched this year. So without further ado, let's begin. In January, I watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This is a visually artistic, amazing movie, which I think all of you should watch. It gave me some emotional resemblance with the characters and what they were trying to do. It was a very, very nice movie that I recommend for anyone to watch if you guys love Shrek, and yeah, it was a pretty cool movie. Okay, Ant-Man 3 was a complete disappointment, which I regret watching, especially if it was in 2024. Ant-Man 3 was okay. I mean, like, 2 years ago, I watched the first one, and I never watched the second. So I watched the second, and then the third. I liked the second, but then, when I watched the third, I was very disappointed. It makes no sense at all. Plus, all the characters feel so dumb, and it could have been a stronger plot, or like they could have done much more with the idea of the Quantunmania, especially if it was the Quantunmania. They could have rang another Avenger with them. I don't know, Spider-Man, Thor. That would have been really fun, especially if it was again a movie talking about Quantunmania. Like, we were waiting for this since Ant-Man and the Wasp, which came out in 2019, and it's just crazy to think that this movie was as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I felt like MODOK could have had like a bigger redemption arc instead of Cassie literally saying that he should stop being a dick. Like, bro, that makes no absolute sense. Like, that convinces him? No emotional deep writing. Like, the writers could have made an emotional deep scene between Cassie and MODOK, and it could have been such a villain redemption arc, which Marvel has never done. It could have been much better than that, but no. So then in April, I watched the Mario movie. I made a review on it a very long time ago, and to be honest, I like this movie. Every time I watch it, it's getting a very worse experience, because I do think we've been told the Mario story a million times, and it's also repetitive in the new games that's coming out. For example, in this new movie, Mario is trying to save Luigi, even though it's normally Peaches. Well, in Super Mario Bros. Odyssey, the game from Nintendo Switch, it's that, but with Peaches. And then now, with the Super Mario Bros. Wonder game, it's really just stopping Bowser, which you already did the last two times you tried to retell this story. But, like I said, it gets very repetitive, and, you know, it's okay. I mean, I gave it originally a 6 out of 10, but now it might get a 6.5 out of 10. So, yeah, it's a pretty fun movie. Then in May, I watched The Little Mermaid, the live-action one. So, to be honest, I didn't enjoy this movie. It was very boring, and it was an entire 2 hours with a story that you could tell in an hour. They really tried to stretch this movie long, but that's what they do with each Disney adaptation, so I don't really blame them. Is there anything to enjoy from this movie? Is there anything to acknowledge from this story? I mean, yeah, I do like how Disney used black actors, but I won't get into that drama because it's a lot of controversy, so I'll leave that aside. Okay, we have to talk about how good Guardians of the Galaxy number 3 is. Okay, so 2 years ago, I watched the first one. I thought it was pretty decent. I saw a lot of people talking about Guardians of the Galaxy number 3 when it came out, but I was never really interested into watching it because I never actually watched the second one. So, finally, because of this ranking, in 2024, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And my god, this trilogy, as a trilogy, is just so good. If you haven't watched this trilogy, you're not a true Marvel fan. I haven't watched every Marvel movie either, but I just really love this movie. I thought it was going to be a bit darker and deeper, but it was already very dark. It just felt like a very dark movie that really just stayed away from the fun and adventure that the first two had, but that didn't mean it was bad. Because of what happened in Endgame, well, now Gamora's a bit different. She's the Gamora that was the Gamora before Guardians of the Galaxy #1. And to be honest, it's just kind of sad because without the original Gamora, this didn't really make the movie that good. But like, I could see that emotional part of the movie really trying to connect with the audience and try to like emotionally stabilize the audience into figuring out that the old Gamoras are gone. It's this Gamora now. It's no other Gamora. So yeah, I mean, I love this movie, and I wish I watched it sooner. And I think watching in 2024 counts kind of. So I'll just count it. But to be honest, I would have watched this one sooner. It's a complete masterpiece. Even though I prefer the second one by a bit. Let me just give you a short review of the second one. Well, it's really cool. It's like combining what made the first movie charming and combining a bit the drama of the third one and creating the masterpiece that was the second one. So yeah, that's a mini review there. Next month, we got Elemental in June. So, Elemental, I really liked it and how Ember and Wayne connected with each other. I love the scene where they touch each other and they trust each other with everything, which is a very charming scene, I think so, which is one of the best scenes I've seen from recent Pixar movies. This movie it has something holding to it that's really special to me. And yeah, it talks a lot about migration too, and the struggles of moving to a new country, which I really respect that. It's a really good idea. And I think so, yes, this movie is pretty good. And I don't see why anyone has to hate on it. I mean, you know, it does have a lot of elements that stick out for me, but to be honest, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken by DreamWorks, which was also actually released in June. This movie is even better than Elemental. That'll be a surprise to you, probably. But I loved Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. It has something to it which I love. Like, I know it might sound very cringy and weird, but like, I think this movie has to be one of the best animated movies DreamWorks has actually ever released, because it just has something to me that I love it. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, it's something. Like, this movie is really entertaining. I love the idea of Krakens and mermaids, and yeah, it acted super poorly in the box office. Its total box office ended up only being 30 million, which, if you think about it, was literally Elemental's opening day. For this movie's opening day only got 5 million. So, gosh, this movie did so poorly. Worst performed DreamWorks movie, but I personally love it. I love the idea of all the Krakens, and I'll do a full video on it very, very soon, because I do think it's worth talking about. Then the last movie I'm going to talk about that I watched from June was the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This movie was so amazing, bro. I can't explain how much enjoyment I felt from watching this movie. Like, bro, this movie was a trip for my eyeballs. Okay, the start with Gwen Stacy's backstory, I liked it more than the entirety of the Mario movie, the intro of Across the Spider-Verse. Something about this freaking intro of the movie is amazing. It tells Gwen Stacy's story in a very well made, in a very well told way. And then we go back to Miles Morales, which lives his life, and then a Spot comes in, and you know, all of that crap, which I did its own review with my robot voice, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave it in the description, as well as all the other reviews I did from these movies that I already talked about, so you can see more in-depth reviews for these. But I love Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and yeah. July, Barbie. This movie, Barbie, changed my freaking life, bro. Changed my freaking life. You don't know how much I enjoyed Barbie. Like, it might sound like the most stupid movie ever made in this existence of movies, but I personally adored Barbie. It was one of, it really touched on the feeling of literally meaning of life, like the meaning of life. And gosh, the scene where Barbie turns into a real person, which actually has dreams to do besides being a stereotypical Barbie, is such a good one. What was I made for? Like, that might as well have been my favorite scene from this year from any movie, and this movie really hit me emotionally, and to be honest, I don't even understand it fully yet, so, like, this is, I'm telling you, this is how much Barbie impacted me. So much that I don't even nearly understand it so much, because of how profound this movie is. So, definitely check that out if you think that this movie is for 5-year-olds, because it's actually PG-13, so. Also in July, I watched Nimona. This movie is so good. It's better than Across the Spider-Verse. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you this now. And it has the same animation, but the freaking charm that went into this movie. Next movie I watched this July, which is the last movie I watched in that month, which was the Ladybug movie. Okay, don't blame me. Do not blame me, but I got kind of obsessed with Season 4 and Season 5 of Miraculous Ladybug in July. Like, I was so into the show. Because, to be honest, Season 4 and Season 5 are one of the best shows because it touches into the more relationships and much more action than the few other seasons. And, yeah, the few other seasons are cringe. And I might even say that the last 2 seasons are cringe, but they're really good. And making a movie of this right when I'm getting interested into the show was perfect for me, and I love the movie. I thought it was a really good movie. It was a very well told adaptation of the Miraculous Ladybug show. Yeah, but like, I don't really like it because it doesn't really represent the show very well. Like, the story isn't the same as the show. Like, very much people are saying this is trying to recapitulate the first season, so that means we're gonna have like 5 movies. And the thing that happens at the end of the movie is the thing that happens in Season 5, and it doesn't even happen like that. Straight up, it doesn't even happen a bit, what happened at the end of the movie. But I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys if you guys are Miraculous Ladybug fans and you haven't seen it yet, but go watch it. If you don't like Miraculous Ladybug, I'm not forcing you to watch it. Unlike Nimona, this is a very optional movie to watch, but I personally enjoyed it a lot. Ninja Turtle. I love this movie. Even though I just feel like I'm not a Ninja Turtles fan, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have, I think so. Like, this movie gets a bit boring, and to be honest, I feel like they could have done much more, or they could have done much less. I don't know, really. This movie gets a bit confusing for me, but most part I liked it. It's just, it doesn't give me the same vibe that gave me Across the Spider-Verse or Nimona. And I know it shouldn't give me the same vibe just because it contains the animation, but it just really reminds me of that. And I don't know if the Ninja Turtles should have had an adaptation like that. Like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, but when I watched it, I didn't really enjoy the movie that much. But for the most part, I like this movie, so don't attack me in the comments. Okay, Haunting in Venice. Yeah, my sister wanted to go watch this movie, and I just went to watch it with her. Bro, this movie's so boring. Like, I never should have even went to watch this movie, but, you know, I had to, so this movie is very boring. What else do you want me to say? Yeah, it's a sequel to that boat movie that came out in 2021. What was that movie? I forgot the name. It's like murder mystery in a boat. Now it's murder mystery in Venice. Oh, so boring. Okay, then the last movie I watched in August was the Paw Patrol 2 movie, and to be honest, this movie is so funny, and it's so goddamn fun, bro. Like, go watch the Paw Patrol 2. Like, it may sound like the most dumb idea, but, like, to be honest, it was kind of entertaining for my liking. Like, you might call me a 5-year-old or whatever, and I'm not forcing you to watch this movie of how good it is. I mean, it's not really that good, but, like, to be honest, the Paw Patrol 2 movie is kind of just there for my liking, I think. I have no idea why this movie should exist, but, you know, it was entertaining. I like the meteor ideas, and, you know, it's not that bad. October. I didn't watch any movies in September, and so in October, I watched the FNAF movie. I had no experience with FNAF before watching this movie. I did not know any of the lore. The only name I knew from there was Freddy. And I also played the Cinco Noches con Alfredo game on Roblox. So, this was completely new to me, and was it good? Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's not in my top 10, it was probably like my top 11.
What the dog doing?
Like, yeah. But, to be honest, the FNAF movie, you know, it's got really good acting, good special effects, but, like, something about it, like, they focus too much about, like, the characters and their experiences, like, just get straight to, the creepiness. Like, bro, I don't think this movie should be PG-13. I do think this should be, like, PG-5 or something. I don't know, because most of the time, the animatronics are not even trying to be bad. They're just trying to have fun with, I forgot her name. I think it was Abby, right? Yeah, I don't know. And to be honest, the only part I really loved about this movie is that Peter Malak is here. Also, aka John Hutcherson, which did that really good meme everyone loves. Anyways, November, Leo. Like, this movie is one of the weirdest movies I've actually watched in a very long while. Like, I don't see anyone wanting to watch Leo right now, but, like, you know, it's a pretty good Adam Sandler movie, and at first, I wasn't even planning to watch it, but it looked like a pretty good movie. I mean, the animation looks so bad, and, like, the fact that they're 5th graders, like, I was recently a 5th grader, I'm not a 5th grader anymore, but experiencing 5th grade wasn't like that. They look like they're in the 3rd grade, and they're just singing, cringe, fun. This movie has the balance of being cringe and also being pretty fun, and to be honest, I think Leo really connects with all these kids very well, and this is my personal opinion. I did a review on this movie, but, like, I feel like all these kids are autistic in a way, because, like, I could imagine them as 5th graders, but maybe autistic 5th graders, not, like, normal 5th graders, but, you know, that's my personal opinion, and I do think not a lot of people will really agree with me with that factor, so, yeah. First of all, Nickelodeon, whoever made this movie, and fuck myself for literally just attempting to even watch this movie. Look, I shouldn't be saying this, but, like, I can't even have a review of this movie. This was the worst movie I watched this year. Cringe, bad, really weird, and it's, like, the weirdest movie ever, and Good Burger wasn't even that good of a movie. It was even weird. It was very wacky and weird for a movie to come out in the 90s, and I don't know how people found that enjoyable, but, you know, there's this crazy people out there that really likes these types of movies, so I'm just leaving this one alone. What am I supposed to say about this movie? Wish? Look, it's 25th of January, the exact day I watched Wish in. And to be honest, I kind of regret that, because I should have watched it when it released, but whatever. I'm here now, so let's talk about it now. Magnifico could have been a better villain, very common villain, and Asha, well, the generic Disney princess, had a little bit of more life into it. Valentino, love him. Everyone support my own Valentino. I trust him with my heart. Then we have, the other characters. Look, the idea of Wish isn't bad, and I don't want to spoil it to you guys, but to be honest, it's just Wish. The idea it's going for is magic, and it goes there, but there's something about it the movie needs. Like, to be honest, this movie was kind of good, but it just needed that one thing to make it a really good movie. Like, it's still a 6 out of 10, but I feel like this movie could have been, like, maybe even a 9 out of 10 if it had that one thing that could have been really good. And I was thinking about it quite a bit, and then I thought, it's Valentino. Okay, yeah, that might sound very weird, but my problem is Valentino. Look, a lot of sidekicks normally have... The sidekicks aren't very emotional, and that's most of my problems with a lot of the movies that's coming out. The companion of the main character never emotionally talks to the main character about the feelings and interacts with them. A good example of this is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish with Perito. That is probably one of my favorite characters, maybe in animation. Very judgeable, though. I'm not kidding, and I'm not a critic, but I consider myself a critic. So I'm just saying, Perito, one of the best ones. And to be honest, Valentino looked like he had a lot of potential. He was funny. He had a lot of heart into himself, so he could have maybe interacted with Asha a little bit more. Or any other character, but it looks like Valentino could have been the person to interact with him. And it can't be the star because I feel, firstly, it can't talk, and secondly, it wouldn't work well. So, yeah, that's a mini review of Wish that I watched it today, and spoiler review is okay. Don't believe everyone's saying it's bad, because it's okay. I mean, for 100 years celebration, I mean, it could have been a lot better, but it could have also been a lot worse. Think about that. Trolls 3, I love this movie. I mean, it's nice. It's another Trolls movie which nobody watched, but to be honest, it's got a pretty good idea, and the colors are pretty vibrant, maybe I could say. But like, making another Trolls movie is kind of tiring, to be honest. Like, everyone should just be tired from this, right? At this point, because who really wants to watch Trolls 3? The second one was pretty bad enough, but to be honest, this is the best of the franchise, and honestly, to be honest, it does the idea it's supposed to do pretty well, and I don't have like a really big problem with it or anything. It's just a pretty charming movie from DreamWorks that they released in 2023. I mean, at least they had something to release. December, Chicken Run 2. I love this. I thought this movie was pretty okay. I am probably the biggest Chicken Run fan. The first movie, it is something to it. I was preparing a review for it because of how much nostalgia that movie gives me. But like, to be honest, like Chicken Run 2, like it's an okay movie. It's not a really good sequel to the second movie, and I do think it could have been made a lot better, but to be honest, Chicken Run 2 is Chicken Run 2. I mean, it's Dawn of the Nugget. It does another mission. This time they're trying to break in to save their daughter or whatever, and it's a pretty fun experience, but like, it got kind of tiring. I thought this movie was going to be much more than just breaking in. It could have been something much greater of a sequel for Chicken Run. I mean, everyone's talking about how unnecessary it was, and to be honest, I kind of just agree with them. Yeah, Wonka. Huh, what do I think about this movie? You know, it's a movie. I mean, they made the Paddington movies, and the Paddington movies used to be my favorite movies ever. So, to be honest, the same creators, they nailed it with how vibrant the colors look and how they wanted to make this world look as Willy Wonka's backstory, but I'm not getting it. It's just a very bland remake that's just, it's like unneeded. The one from the 1990s or whatever, I haven't watched it, but like it looked pretty good, and they didn't have to remake it again in the 2000s, and now they're remaking again in 2020s, and you know, this story doesn't have to be told like each time. Okay. Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Okay, so this is my second favorite, I think, yes. Second favorite movie of this year. So, I mean, 2023. So, what is so special about Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes? Well, it's a sequel to the original Hunger Games movies. I love the Hunger Games movies. I love Peter Malak. I love Katniss and all the characters that communicate between this entire quadrilogy. And I think it's a good quadrilogy to watch if you haven't watched many movies or you don't know what to watch. I recommend watching those movies. So, those movies were very important to me. Like, I wouldn't say important, but they were very important to me when I watched them, which was in Christmas of 2022. So, like, 2 Christmases ago or something. So, when I watched them, I thought they were pretty entertaining. They were really decent, and they were made with poured heart, soul. They tried to make masterpieces here, and they succeeded with the first 2, and in the last 2, well, I don't know what happened, but like it was okay. So now the 5th one, interesting. To be honest, I never really dig into this sequel. I just knew it was happening. So then when I started digging into it a bit more, I knew it was very, very long. And the original book for this movie is longer than the book of Mockingjay. And so why didn't they do 2 movies? I personally think they should have done 3 movies because of how long this movie was. One problem I have with it is that it's too long and boring and the scenes get very long. But to actually talk about the plot, to be honest, it's interesting because it talks about President Snow's past and how he got to realize that the Hunger Games were a lot more important to him than he actually thought. Because the way that the Hunger Games was made is I forgot the character's name, but I think he got drunk or something, and then he invented the Hunger Games for fun, but it actually got taken seriously. And now, Snow is taking it a bit more seriously, because the Hunger Games for him, it was always something bad, and it should have never been made. But he started to realize it was a good thing. But I feel like he was the only one realizing that. Because even the own creator was... I mean, he was okay with the idea of the Hunger Games, but he never intended to actually do it. So that's interesting right there. So, yeah. What else do you want me to say? I mean, all the characters were pretty entertaining in the Hunger Games, the actual Hunger Games sequence, which is very interesting because, to be honest, this is our society. This is our current society. And I don't know how we'll change it soon or anything, but, like, this movie was so interesting. And, to be honest, I can honestly name this movie the first movie that was actually boring, but I found really nice and motivating, let's say, because, bro, there's so many boring movies out there I watched, and to be honest, I just slept. So, to give this movie a good punctuation, this movie definitely deserves a 9.8 out of 10. Really good sequel, and the only problem I have is what I said, is it's too long, but that's it. Everything else, mwah, love it. Okay, so, Migration. What am I supposed to say about this movie? I loved it. I liked it. It had some charm to it. I thought it was funny, and I thought it was just a charming animated movie. Honestly, this movie kind of felt like a DreamWorks movie this year. It felt more like a DreamWorks movie than Illumination, because this movie kind of proved Illumination a bit that, like, not only do they only have to, like, promote their films and, like, make them all Minions, the Grinch, whatever. This was an original idea that is now getting a lot of money. I think the box office is, like, 200 million so far. 300 million, I don't know. I'll check it later, but I'll just put it in the section of the video. So you're seeing the box office, like the current box office right now while I'm editing the video. So that's interesting. And it's still getting more money. So I'm happy that this is getting pushed as an original movie and being successful. But is it really an original idea? So the idea isn't really a migration, it's more of a vacation, but you can't really just name a movie Vacation. So Migration was a better title for it, but they never actually went there and stayed there, because that's what migration is. I've studied about it a lot in class, so I know what it means. Moving away to another country, and yeah, that's it. Like, getting a new home, and that's it. So I don't think Vacation would be a good title, but you know. I don't give a shit! So, Migration. This is about the Stock family. They want to have adventure, but the dad, I forgot his name. These characters, I don't remember their names. The main dark guy, the dad, he doesn't have, like, a world of adventure in his head. He's more of a, let's just say, calm in comfort zone kind of guy. But then he just thought about it better, and he thought, what is better for my family? And then they ended up doing that. Let's just say that they get into crazy shenanigans and all that and all this. And then they get to the place where they wanted to go, which was Jamaica. Boom. It's just all the shenanigans that happen builds up this villain, builds up a friend they meet. And to be honest, it's a really fun movie. And they're heading to Jamaica. So the trip there, it's gotta be, like, beautiful. The animation's really good. And actually, when I was doing my Super Mario Bros. Movie review, the first trailer came out for this, and with my robot voice, I remember saying that this looked a bit like the Spider-Verse animation, but now that I fixate a bit more on the animation, it actually isn't. So my mistake, guys, but it really looked like it could have been a comic book animation, because all these other studios are doing it. I have no idea why Illumination isn't doing it.
But it has the Spider-Verse animation, so only God knows what critics think about this movie.
So, to get to my point is that this movie is copying a bit Rio too. Let me explain. The dad is in his comfort zone. The mom is, in both movies, wants to have a life of adventure, and the kids are the kids. Forget about the kids. And then they go on this vacation to another place. The only difference here is the personalities of the characters are very similar. The plot of them getting to, like, this place to that place, 5 minutes. But this movie is the entire movie. They get into shenanigans, but, like, it's more like just the characters. Like, I've already been talking about this movie for 4 minutes, so let's just wrap it up with saying, decent movie. Not that good and not that bad. Okay, this is the last movie I'm gonna talk about in this ranking, and more of a movie, it's more of a special that's an entire hour. So, in 2021, Disney started producing Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies because they bought Fox. But instead of them being live action like the ones from the 2010s, instead what they did was made them animated. So, like I said, in 2021, they made a Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. This one was animated, and it just replicated the book in animated form. Next year, 2022, they did it again. And now, in 2023, they did it again. But it was a bit different, because in 2021, they did the first book, 2022, the second, and now they're skipping to the sixth book. But I think the next year, we're going to have the third book. So, I think they're following a different order, and it was interesting for them to actually go this way, because we already saw movies for the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid and Roderick Crawl, so it was nice seeing something new being made into a movie, and this is my second favorite book in the franchise. But are these movies even good? First one is really bad. Second one, even worse. These movies have horrible animation, and you know the same people that made Ice Age 6 were the same people that made this movie. I mean, all these movies. So, this year's one, I wasn't any more excited of. And just seeing the entirety of the new one, I've got to say, it's like a lot better than the last two. Because the last two are just bad animation, and it's just boring overall. And this movie actually has pretty good lessons, and for some reason, I just think the animation is really good this time. I mean, the backgrounds in this movie look amazing. They look like if they were backgrounds for, like, the Peanuts movie or something, with all the Christmas lights and everything. It was an entertaining movie, which I think deserves its praise, and it does a good it does a good lesson to kids and everyone. I loved the conversation between Greg and the lady at the end, with him, with, you know, her figuring out that he was the one that broke her part of the van. But Greg gives the consoles to that woman's kid because she couldn't afford it that year. And I think it's very nice from Greg, but that's the problem. Greg wouldn't be that nice. But, you know what? To just finish this video, I'm leaving it like this, okay, guys? So, now will be the outro of the video. Okay, let's just clear out some things that if you even just got to this point of the video, you're a legend, you have a really good attention span, and you gave me a lot of watch time. So, thank you for all those things. It was a pain to make this video. I had to cut clips, wait for movies to come out. I had to watch a few movies in 2024 if I wanted to talk about quite a few movies in my ranking. But after all the pain and sufferment I went through editing this video, I still have to finish the Blue Sky video. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have like a 1-month break after that. So, guys, this was crazy. Trying to make this long of a video in a very short time was amazing. And please, I'm telling you, please, if you genuinely like this video and want to see more content like this, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before summer, and that would be a real big help for me. With that being said, have a nice day.